These are the 7 books you have to read in 2022 if you want to have a better, happier, and more successful life. What's up, everybody? It's Adrian Brambila here. I've been reading books since I was 19 about business and self-help, not really Harry Potter, but these books helped change my life. By the time I was 30, I had my own internet company, employees, and an over 7-figure net worth. And I honestly think it's because of the books that I read. Books are like the cheat codes to life. It's crazy that people are so generous with their knowledge and value that they put it into words for the entire world to basically learn from. And I feel like if you're not reading books right now, you have to. Every single day, it's part of my morning routine. I journal and I read. And if you notice, my books all have these kind of like tallies. One thing I like to do when I read my books is pretty much highlight and then I'll add a little sticker tab. It does look a little funky and crazy, but then I'll never have to reread this book. I can just flip to a specific tab and then my lessons are right there. Without further ado, here are the 7 books you have to read this year. The first book is I Will Teach You How to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Money is something that we cannot avoid.
Hello, I like money.
It is part of living a life. In this world, you may not have a great relationship with money. You may hate it, the idea of it. You might think that it's evil, but in all reality, we need to understand it. It does affect us. And I think having financial freedom, clarity allows you to live a happier life because you don't have to worry about money and debt. But it's crazy. People who are very successful in business do not equate to financial literacy. Successful people, doesn't matter how high of success they are, even politicians, may actually live paycheck to paycheck. It's absolutely insane. And how do you learn about money? It's honestly, the answer is books. And this is one of my favorite books for beginners. If you've never read a money book, Ramit Sethi breaks it down in a super digestible way that's funny, entertaining, and I'm just gonna pick one random lesson here just to tease you so you can definitely buy this book. For instance, the #1 mistake people make with their own credit cards is carrying a balance or not paying it off every month. Astonishingly, of the 125 million Americans who carry a monthly credit card balance, half of them pay only their minimum monthly payments. That's like absolutely insane. Anyways, lots of nuggets in here. You wanna get your money right, get your life right, you start with this book. Book number 2, Unshakable by Tony Robbins. This is another book about finance. I promise it's my last one here about finance, but this one really ties into your life's goals and missions. For example, you ever thought for all the things that you want in your life, your dream life, how much it would actually cost? You can actually figure that out with a calculation given in this book. And also trying to figure out what to invest in. This book is kind of like really trying to de-nerd that stuff so we can actually come up with a portfolio to invest in the future. I'll say no more other than Tony Robbins is a super great, awesome, motivating guy, and he gets to interview some of the world's best, most sharpest minds about finance, like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, and he puts it in this book, so you have to check it out. Enough talk about money, let's talk about food. This is The Plant Paradox by Stephen Gundry, and I think it's important you have to spend just a little bit of energy learning about what goes in your body because our bodies, we only get one of them, and it's super important that we take care of it. I read The Plant Paradox, I tried it, it was awful, not gonna lie. I do not follow it to a T because it is very hard to sustain, not like the selections of food that you have to eat in here, but it did change the way I think about food and my diet in general. And I just think if you're someone who wants to if you think of your body in terms of like a machine, and what you put in your body is like how it runs, the energy, the fuel. Your body is never gonna be able to run at its full capacity if you're putting bad stuff in it, and junk food, or things that we think that are good that are actually bad. So this is really breaking down the science behind food. And honestly, I'm gonna just warn you, it is a little dry, but massively informative. I have forever changed what I put in my body because of this book. This is The One Thing by Gary Keller. This book really is about one word, just focus. We have so many priorities, things in motion in all areas of our life, business and personal. And I feel like this book just really makes you think about what truly matters and how to eliminate all the distractions to really just conquer on the thing that matters most in life, right? Our time is so limited here on this earth. If we could just focus on what matters, intentionally we would be happier, more successful, further along in our dreams and goals. This book can really help you, first of all, figure out what that is and then how to focus on that. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Honestly, one of the best books I've ever read. Habits is basically the actions that you take, whether consciously or unconsciously, every single day. Your actions define you. When you keep doing these actions, they create habits, and these can work against you or for you. Every time you take an action, for example, like drinking, and you keep drinking, you can turn into alcoholic. That'd be a very bad example of a habit that you do not want to have. On the flip side, every time you go to the gym, you're creating positive endorphins, and the more times you go to the gym, you create a habit where you don't even think about it. You just have to go to the gym. So the science behind habits and how they affect and control your life, it's incredible. We are just creatures of habits, and you have the power to basically create these habits, like literally hardwired in your brain for any area of life that you want. So that is a very powerful thing to yield, and this book can help you yield them in the right direction. This is Principles by Ray Dalio. I think a manifest of life. Ray Dalio's background is pretty much running one of the largest hedge funds in the world, but he is so methodical and transparent in how he's designed his entire company and his life and the way he treats relationships. It's just fascinating. So if you ever wanted to like figure out or ask a question of someone who's done everything, how should I live my life? What are your thoughts? This book basically goes through every single thing from relationships, business, and money, and even how to think. So it's absolutely fascinating. I truly think it's shaped a lot of my perspective from how Ray Dalio's built this book, so highly recommend checking out. Last but not least, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. This is the first book I ever read that I actually cried. It's absolutely insane. It's written from a Holocaust survivor and what it was like living in a camp. And honestly, it just puts everything in perspective, like what the tragedy that Victor went through and wrote about. I mean, I will never, like, if I can remember this book, and I'm thinking I'm having like a bad day, it's like I'm never going to experience how bad life can get, and just all the things we do, what really matters, focusing on life. It's just so inspirational. Man, it holds dear to my heart. So if you're just wanting a book that is going to help you just put everything in perspective, this is going to be it for sure. These are the 7 books that if you want to change your life in 2022, from your health, your wealth, your mindset, your perspective, your habits, I can't think of a better basically way to do that. Reading is something that can be very hard to integrate, but honestly, start with just one page. Open a book and just read one page and put it away. The next day, do the same thing. And again, and all of a sudden you'll realize that you're cracking through chapters left and right, and now every single day you're reading. And honestly, if people could just stop watching Netflix and put away your phone and instead invest just 30 minutes a day into reading a book, I think honestly it could change the world. Books are everything. They're super powerful. I have a top 10 recommendation of books. If you want more, go to adrianbrambila.com/books or check the link below.